Can everybody hear me? Commissioner Witt, how are you? I understand not too well. Why'd you go? Relax.
Yeah.
You're excused if you like.
Reading too many papers, I think. It's therapy
Yeah,
after.
all right. Well, I hope you're feeling better.
Thank you.
Good morning. This is the time set for the October 7th, 2024 Nevada Tax Commission meeting. Before we get into the agenda, there's a couple of housekeeping matters. 5C2, the C store is being withdrawn because it's in the process of being settled and it'll come to our next meeting. Item 6A1, Trilogy, the county settled it, so they've asked that that be removed, so that's removed. Items 4C, 1, 2, and 3, those items are going to be withdrawn and set for our next meeting in December. The reason why is there's information that Director Hughes noticed was missing and they had to go ahead and put it back in. So we have a complete package for those days, for those items, I'm sorry. Other than that, that's it. So Tina, if you do a roll call, please. Is Tina down here today?
No, she's in Parsons.
Oh. Tina, if you could do the roll call, please.
Yes, good morning. I just wanted to confirm that Capitol Reporters is a panelist.
Hi, Tina. Yes, it's Nicole.
Oh, thank you. Great. Okay, and I'll do roll call. Commissioner Adelhawk,
Here.
Commissioner Sheets,
Here.
Commissioner Rotifer,
Here.
Commissioner Bellows,
Here.
Commissioner Johnson,
Here.
Commissioner Byram,
I'm here.
Commissioner Witt,
Here.
and Chairman Colesis.
Present. Next, Tina, could you please read in the record the public comment?
Yes. Persons wishing to provide public comment remotely may access the meeting by using the telephone numbers and meeting ID posted on the agenda. Public comment will be limited to 3 minutes per person, and comments based on viewpoint will not be restricted. Public comment will be available at the beginning of the meeting and at the end of the agenda. At the discretion of the chairperson, additional public comment may be heard when that item is reached. The chairperson may allow additional time to be given to a speaker as time allows at his sole discretion.
Thank you. Let's start here in Las Vegas. Do we have public comment? Please come forward.
Good morning. My name is Ron Voigt. My last name is spelled V like in Victor, O as in Oscar, I as in India, G as in golf, and T as in tango. I would just like to make a public comment about the public comment submitted by Mr. Levine from Reed and Smith. I noticed that it's come from Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. That's okay. I'm a Cowboy fan, but anything that is useful, I'm willing to take. His two recommendations, actions really make a lot of sense. And I would really ask the commission to consider his two actions that he has made to you, because I think they really do make a lot of sense. Executive views, if you need any help on how to reduce the administrative burden, my phone number is available. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment in Carson City?
There is no
See
public.
none. How about on, I'm sorry, how about on the telephone? Or the Zoom link, whatever.
Thank you, Chair. To provide public comment, please press star 9 or raise hand on your Zoom window to take your place in the queue. Again, if you wish to provide public comment, please press star 9 on your phone or raise hand on your Zoom window to take your place in the queue.
I take it there's none?
We have one person unmuting. One moment, please.
Thank you.
Caller, you're unmuted. Please go ahead.
All right. This is Kenneth Levine from Reed Smith LLP. Thank you for that comment by the prior commenter. Submitting a comment today on behalf of Greyhound Lines, Inc., along the lines of what was submitted in writing. We're providing this comment regarding the Marquis Motor Coach decision that was issued by the Clark County District Court, holding that the imposition of the transportation connection tax on interstate transportation was preempted by federal law. And Greyhound is commenting today because its interest in this issue is particularly important as the largest provider of intercity bus transportation in the United States, with bus lines that originate inside Nevada and terminate outside. Greyhound, like many others, has been impacted by the state's imposition of this tax on interstate transportation. Greyhound currently has an appeal pending before a Department of Taxation administrative law judge on this exact same issue. This tax has been imposed on Greyhound's interstate transportation. So I'm providing this comment today to reiterate what was submitted in writing and to request that the Commission take two actions to ensure the orderly administration of this tax in accordance with federal law. First, we would request that the Commission direct the Department of Taxation to adopt and publish formal guidance confirming once and for all that the transportation connection tax does not apply to interstate passenger transportation by motor carriers. And this, of course, will give proper notice to all interested parties, all businesses that provide interstate transportation, that it doesn't apply, and it should reduce burdens on the department, as mentioned by the prior commenter. And secondly, we would request that the Commission direct the department to follow the Marquis Motor Coach decision and to grant relief from the transportation connection tax imposed on interstate transportation in any other pending appeals, including Greyhound's, and any other timely filed refund claims on this issue. And of course, we believe this would reduce the administrative burden on all interested parties on the department and on motor carriers, and it would avoid any confusion or non-uniform treatment that could result from the department pursuing further appeals of this issue. With that's all I had to say today. Happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Levin. Any other public comment?
If you recently joined and would like to provide public comment, please press *9 to take your place in the queue or raise hand on your Zoom window. Again, if you recently joined and would like to provide public comment, please press *9. Chair, we have no additional callers wishing to provide public comment at this time.
Thank you. Director Hughes, if you administer the oath now to all parties that are going to testify.
Yes, thank you very much. For those testifying today, would you please stand and raise your right hand to take the oath? For those of you that plan to testify today, do you promise that your testimony during these proceedings will be truthful? If so, say I do. Thank you.
Next, item 3, meeting minutes of the August 14th, 2024 Nevada Tax Commission. Consideration for approval. Do I have any motions or discussions?
I'd move to approve this Commissioner Sheets.
Seconds?
Commissioner Byram, second.
All those that agree say aye.
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 Any nay? No nay, so they're approved unanimously. Next, we have the consent calendar. That will be Okay, first let me ask, is there any items that Commissioner would like pulled from the consent calendar for independent discussion?
Mr. Chairman, this is Commissioner Byram.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to pull item 4B2 Nevada Italian Restaurant Group and 4F1 Louis Villagram Quiroga.
Can you tell me those items again? The first one was
4B2 and 4F1.
4B2, the Nevada Italian Restaurant,
Mhm.
and 4B1, Comprehensive Care Services,
4F1.
4F1. Luis F. Villagram, okay. Those two are pulled. Any others?
Chairman, this is Commissioner Adelhawk. I'd like to pull item 4B1, Comprehensive Care Service.
Okay. Any other ones?
Mr. Chairman, this is Commissioner Rotifer. I have a question I'd like to ask. So I'll pull 4E1, True Colors Inc. doing business as Integrity Customs.
Okay. Any other ones? NFL? Number,
Can we pull, this Commissioner Sheets, could we pull item 4B5?
National Football League?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other ones? All right, so let me walk through these with everybody's requests, and if I missed any, let me know. We are going to independently discuss comprehensive care services, the Nevada Italian Restaurant Group, the National Football League, True Colors Inc., DBA Integrity Customs, and Luis Villagram's Pizzeria. So those items are removed. As to the balance of the consent calendar, do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, this is Commissioner Rotifer. I would move to approve the consent agenda, save and except for those items that are being held out for separate discussion.
Second, please.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry to interrupt. Can you adjust that motion to also include the four that were removed from the agenda earlier?
Well as the 4 that have been removed from the agenda.
Thank you. Second,
Commissioner Bellows, I'll second.
all those that agree say aye.
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 Any nays?
Aye.
No nays, unanimously approved. So start with, let's just start at the beginning here. Hold on. Comprehensive Care Services. I believe that was you, Commissioner Adelhawk.
Yes, this is Commissioner Adelhawk. Just have a few questions on these types of matters where the taxpayer has a history of filing and paying their modified business returns timely. It would help me as a commissioner to see some sort of backup to substantiate that from the department, because I don't know exactly what that means when I'm looking at this matter. I mean, I assume that the department, has a reason for stating that, but it would help the commission if we had some sort of backup on that. How many years, how many periods have they, filed and paid timely? On top of that, the concern that I have on this is really the timeline. And it happened on another matter that it happens often where I see, and I'm completely familiar with this, that a payroll company takes over, payroll administrator or a PEO, and the taxpayer assumes that they're doing their job and filing modified business tax, and then it abruptly stops. Well, in this situation, it wasn't filed for 2 years. And to me, I'm thinking that's quite a long time for the taxpayer not to even be contacted by the department to say, you know, you've had a history of, I'm not sure how long, but here we are 2 years later and you haven't filed. I would think it would be nice if there was some sort of system to alert the taxpayer when returns are abruptly missing, because, you know, accountants, when they fail, the taxpayer ends up having to pay the price for that. And it would seem that this, if it were caught sooner, that it would have been corrected sooner, and we wouldn't be looking at waiving $33,000 in penalties and interest. So just a comment and maybe a suggestion on information that we could have in addition to these types of matters. Other than that, I agree with the department in waiving the penalties and interest on this matter.
Any other commissioners have a comment? Discuss it. I'm sorry, any other commissioners have any comments or discussion? No? Then do I have a motion?
This is Commissioner Adalhoff. I make a motion to approve the waiver of penalty and interest for Comprehensive Care Services, Inc.
Second?
This is Commissioner Sheets. I'll second.
Those that agree say aye.
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 Any nays? No nays? It's approved. Nevada Italian Restaurant Group. Was that, let's see, that was you, Commissioner Byram, correct? Or Commissioner Rutherford, that was you. Commissioner Byram, that was you.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question on Nevada Italian Restaurant Group. This is a company in our in the explanation paragraph. It explains that this company ceased operations in Nevada in July 2023. And in the following paragraph, that if a waiver is approved, it'll result in a credit in the amount of $32,000. My question is, why would it result in a credit if this company has ceased operations? Would it not result in a refund instead of a credit?
Thank you, Commissioner. I know that the company is still operating.
Would you
out of
identify
state.
yourself, please?
Sorry, yes. My name is Mixeli Arambula for the department. I know that the company is still operating out of state. They are the old macaroni grill that we had here in town. We had a couple, about 30 or so restaurants in the state. If they can request a refund once they are aware that the waiver is approved. So we would be contacting them.
Okay. All right. And with that, I would move to approve item 4B to Nevada Italian Restaurant Group.
Second, please.
Commissioner Rutherford, second.
Those that agree say aye.
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 Any nays? Nevada Italian Restaurant Group LLC is approved. Okay. Let's go to True Colors Inc., DBA Integrity Customs.
Mr. Chairman, this was just a question that I had for the department. I know I've asked this question before in the past. Probably sound like a broken record, but it indicates in here that taxpayer is going to pay $1,600 a month for 231 months. So my math suggests that's 19 years, 3 months. Is that correct?
Good morning. This is Kathy Fay, Tax Program Supervisor 3 for the department. Every year, he's going to provide additional financials, and we are anticipating that his payment will go up next year. He's currently making a payment to the IRS that will be paid off in a year. So we're anticipating that as time goes on, it's going to reduce the amount of payments that he's going to owe. Right now, that's where we're standing.
And how old is this taxpayer?
Well, Mr. Lopez is here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I will let him answer that.
I'm 33.
Okay. Well, I guess the department can chase Mr. Lopez for the
Yeah, exactly,
20 years, so. All right, that was all my questions, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
With that, I would go ahead and approve True Colors, Inc. doing business as Integrity Customs.
Commissioner Byram, second.
Those that agree, please say aye.
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 Nays?
No.
One no, remain, what, six
Who was the
ayes?
no?
One no. That was
Sorry, who was-
Commissioner Sheets.
Thank you.
Approval, it passes with one no. Next is Louise F. Villagram's Pizzeria.
Mr. Chairman, we skipped National Football League, but do you want me to go?
Yeah, I skipped it intentionally.
Okay, gotcha. Commissioner Byram, and I have a question on F1. This, on the recommendation page, it explains that we're recommending approval and data collectability satisfied. And then in the explanation, it says doubt as collectability is not supported, and we recommend the commission deny the offer. So so there's probably just an incorrect paragraph. I'm just want to make sure I know which one.
Thank you, Mixali Arambula, Tax Program Supervisor for the department. Yes, I'm very sorry for the error. It was an error that I didn't catch. So we are recommending approval.
Okay, so that whatever goes to the taxpayer isn't going to have a kind of two different instructions. It's going to recommend.
Well, we did contact the taxpayer to let him know that the packet that went out to him was a misunderstanding.
Okay.
That we are recommending approval.
Okay. Thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much. Mr. Chairman, I would recommend approval of item 4F1, Louis Villagram.
Do I have a second?
Commissioner Bellows, I'll second.
All those that agree, say aye.
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 Any nay? Recommendations accepted, approved, and the offer of compromise is approved. Okay. Now we'll go back to the NFL, National Football League.
I have a question about, in the papers that were provided on the National Football League issue, the suggestion is made that they had, that the league or its representatives had communicated with the department in terms of whether periodic payments were due or whether a single payment was to be made with respect to the tax liability at a designated time. And I'd like to know, did that communication occur? Is that a true statement that they've made about what the situation was?
This is Rachel Peterson for the record. Yes, the conversation with the NFL happened on January 22nd. We were made aware that they were not registered for live entertainment tax, so we reached out to them and they stated that they were under the impression the LET tax was due after the event.
Well, my question is, did the department advise them that it was due after the event, or did the department tell them that it was to be made periodically as the law seems to require?
Rachel Peterson for the record. We did not advise them of filing after the event. As soon as we were made aware, we reached out to them and advised them that the tax is due the month the ticket is sold.
Okay. Thank you.
So if I understand this one correctly, the NFL tax department misread our law and just didn't comply with the law because they didn't understand it?
I believe the taxpayer is in attendance on the phone.
Is the taxpayer on the telephone?
Hi. Hi, Commissioner. My name is Bradley Firestone. I spoke with Rachel and her representatives in January of 2024. As she said, we did not understand the law. We thought that the law was, like other states, that the tax was due the month subsequent to the event after the game took place. We're very sorry for our misunderstanding of the law. As soon as Rachel and her representatives let us know what it was, we immediately complied and we remitted the taxes as soon as possible after the game. And we were able to actually get all the taxes submitted by the end of March of 2024, which is actually the end of our fiscal year. But yes, we misunderstood the law. It was an innocent mistake.
Did the NFL obtain a resale certificate for the event?
No.
No.
We're the seller of the tickets.
No, I understand that. I'm talking about a resale certificate for sales and use tax.
I mean, we registered for sales and use tax around the same time, maybe February of 2024, which gave us the ability to remit the taxes online.
How many folks are in your tax department at the NFL?
Myself and one other person. We rely a lot on outside advisors.
Are those CPAs, attorneys?
The outside advisors, correct.
And the NFL, I think they announced the Super Bowl 3 years ahead of time here?
Definitely in advance, yes.
And when you normally go to a venue 3 years ahead of time, you don't look into their laws and understand them?
We looked at the laws at the time, but we did not see any. We reached out to outside advisors, and we did not see anything that talked about when the taxes were due.
Who are the outside advisors?
If we were advised of it, we would have paid it on the monthly schedule, as you said.
Who are your outside advisors that helped you with the tax law here?
Deloitte.
Deloitte and Touche?
Yes.
Or Deloitte, whatever they're called now?
Yes.
So here's my difficulty, sir. In the past, a misreading of the statute hasn't been sufficient reason to waive penalties and interest. And I just have very difficulty with the fact that the NFL, which is a multi-billion-dollar corporation, and I think you're nonprofit, aren't you?
No, we gave that status up several years ago.
Okay. So now you're for a profit entity, and you're coming to a venue. You've been here 3 years.
Well, this is our first Super Bowl here, and again, we had this fully budgeted. We knew that we had to pay the tax. It was a mistake. It was a mistake, and we apologize for it.
Well, I understand it was a mistake. I'm just telling you.
I understand. I understand. We appreciate the partnership. Having a club in the state. We hope to come back for more Super Bowls, and we certainly we appreciate the relationship, and we're just asking for reasonable cause. Obviously, we're not going to make this mistake a second time.
Anything else you want to say?
No, just thank you for your time and consideration.
Okay. So now I'll finish up what I was saying. In the past, this has not been considered excusable neglect, and we waive penalties and interest. And I have serious difficulty, that the NFL, because we're going to set a precedent of this is excusable neglect, that somebody misread the law. And I just know the countless people that we've had pay who unfortunately misread the law. And I have difficulty with this approval by the department. Commissioner Sheets.
I have a question for Rachel. Rachel, can you tell me, is there in the the regulations or in the statute a delineation of how this tax is to be paid on a monthly basis or
Yes, Rachel
on
Peterson.
an aggregate? Go ahead, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Rachel Peterson for the record. Yes, statute does separate if you're in a gaming establishment, then you pay the month preceding the event. And then if you are in a non-gaming establishment, you pay the month the ticket was sold.
Okay, and that's in the statute?
Correct.
Okay. All right, I have a motion. If it's time for that. And my motion would be that we deny the waiver of penalty and interest pursuant to NRS 364-19 for the National Football League, which is I-4B5.
Do I have a second?
Commissioner Byram, I would
Witt.
second.
Those that agree say aye.
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 Those that do not agree, a nay. It's unanimously approved. The waiver is not approved. Thank you. So quiet in here. Where we at? Anybody that's here on the consent calendar, it's been approved. You don't need to stay any longer. I don't think there is though, is there? Or anybody on the telephone? No? Okay. Compliance Division, Taxpayers Appeal of Administrative Law Judge's Decision on George and George's. Do we have George and George here? All right, if you folks could identify yourselves.
Senior Deputy Attorney General Andrea Nichols, NICHOLS.
Daniel Chappelle, Auditor, Department of Taxation.
Do we have the taxpayers on the telephone? Okay. Do we have a representative of the taxpayers on the telephone or here? Ms. Nichols?
Thank you, Chairman. This matter was originally set for the June 25th Nevada Tax Commission meeting, and it was continued at the taxpayers' request to the October meeting today. I know that they did receive notice of the continuance, and then we did mail a second notice of the hearing today. It's my understanding that they have a car rental business and a car sales business, and I think I was advised that the notice was returned from the sales business, but it was delivered to the rental business. But like I said, they also, when they requested a continuance, they did have notice of this hearing.
Okay.
And we would just request that the commission issue a decision adopting the findings of fact, conclusions of law, and decision issued by the administrative law judge.
Okay, do I have any motions or any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, this is Commissioner Byram. Can I ask a couple questions?
Absolutely.
In reading through this documentation, this company doesn't seem to have any official sets of books and records, financial statements, filed fraudulent federal tax returns. Why are they still in business? Why are they continued by the state of Nevada to continue in business? Why is there nothing being done to shut them down? The taxpayers are subsidizing this company.
I think Mr. Chappell wants to address that.
Daniel Chappelle, Auditor, Department of Taxation. So So before this meeting, I went and did some field visits to the various business locations. There were a couple of different locations selling cars. One of them is a different business now. The other one, the storefront is completely vacant. There's no inventory. There's no employee locked. The third location, the rental car location, it's still there. So the business is operating, but we anticipate that the business is going to have some sort of a straw buyer, but we don't know when that's going to happen. We kind of need this decision to get final before we can initiate the rest of the collection.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to uphold the administrative law judge's decision in full and George's and hopefully any action that can be taken.
Do we have a second?
Commissioner Roder for a second.
And those that agree say aye.
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 Any nays? Unanimously approved and adopted the administrative law judge's decision on George and George's. Is there two Georges, really? Just
That's
curious.
the name of the company.
Oh, okay. Next item.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Next item, consideration and approval of the removal of names of debtors, including the amount of tax penalty and interest from the records of the department for debts exceeding 5 years due and the collection being impossible or impractical. Who's gonna?
We have Charlene Bernardo down in Carson City.
Where is she?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. For the record, I am Charlene Bernardo, Tax Program Supervisor 2 with the department. The matter before this body is the removal of uncollectible tax, penalty, and interest from the department's active collection rolls. The last time this body acted on this issue was December 2023, in which this commission removed 524 accounts totaling $2,890,106.49 from active collections. This is an administrative move designed to make way for accounts that have a higher priority and collection life left in them. The department will still collect monies on these accounts through liens and other passive collection methods, but does not actively collect these accounts. Pursuant to NRS 360.265, the department is requesting removal of 4,350 accounts totaling $4,144,892.85 in uncollectible tax, penalty, and interest. All of these accounts are at least 5 years old and deemed uncollectible. Either the taxpayer was bankrupt, now out of bankruptcy, all claims submitted, and or the account is either impractical or impossible to collect for various reasons. I am happy to answer any questions from the commission.
Do we have any questions? Do we have a motion?
Commissioner Witt, move to approve.
We have a second.
Commissioner Sheets, I'll second.
Any discussion? No discussion? Those that agree, please say aye.
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 Any nays? Passes unanimously. Let's see. Next item was 6A1. That one was pulled because it was settled. We're now at 6B, determination and allocation of certification of centrally assessed 2024-2025 unsecured, 2025-26 secured unitary property valuations and assessments pursuant to NRS 361-320, NRS 361-321, and NRS 361-323. This is John.
Soren Bopen.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the
Good morning.
Commission. My name is Soren Popa, and I am the supervisor of the Centrally Assessed Properties Division of the Department of Taxation. Before you is the 2025-26 secured roll and 6-month QUIP, as well as the 2024-25 unsecured roll and 12-month QUIP. Based on information provided by taxpayers pursuant to NRS 361-318, as well as other research to verify data conducted by the utility analyst of the department, we have established the taxable and assessed value of property of an interstate and intercounty nature for review and approval by the Commission. Now, a few days ago, after submitting the report to you, we found two clerical errors, both in the taxable value areas, which means that the assessed value that is about to be certified is not affected by these. One for Sierra Pacific Power Company gas on page 61, and one under secured unscheduled airlines for Scenic Airlines, formerly known as Grand Canyon Air, on page 24. Since these errors are under the taxable value, while the corresponding assessed values are correct, the values to be certified are not impacted. We have corrected the 2 pages, and the version to be published will include the corrections. Centrally assessed industries operating within the state of Nevada include airline companies, electric companies, gas and pipelines, railroads, private rail car lines, and telecommunication properties. If you wish, I could either provide summaries by industry, or I can go company by company or answer question. I will defer it to you.
Let's see if any of the commissioners have any questions for you. Is there any questions? No. Do I have a motion?
I'd move to approve the submittal by the department on this matter, as Commissioner Sheets.
Second?
Commissioner Byram, second.
Those that agree, please say aye.
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 The determination and allocation is approved. Item C, review and consideration to approve an addendum to Bulletin 214, 2025, 2026, agricultural land values and open space property procedures, including tables relating to the valuation of open space golf course land and the improvements.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the Commission. For the record, I'm Cheryl
Good morning.
Erskine, Coordinator of Assessment Standards for Local Government Services. This morning, I would like to present for your review and approval the 25-26 Golf Course Table Addendum to Agricultural Bulletin number 214, which was approved by this Commission on May 8th. The golf course tables use the Consumer Price Index to factor the land value forward for the current year. However, this factor is not available from the Bureau of Labor Statistics until mid-August. This prevents ELGS from updating golf course land values for consideration and approval by the Commission in May with the Agricultural Bulletin. As you can see in the first table of this year's bulletin, the land value of golf courses is calculated by considering the July 2024 CPI amount of $333.174, which results in a factor of 1.73. When this factor is applied to the 2004 taxable per acre land value to factor it forward to the current year, you get this year's taxable per acre land value of $4,948. This proposed value increase results in a 3% increase over last year. The second table shows the factors from Marshall and Swift that are used in valuation of golf course improvements throughout the Nevada counties. The third table lists golf course rating points assigned for par readings to be used to determine whether a course is a Class 1, 2, 3, or 4 pursuant to NAC 361A.4410. The tables on page 2 list golf course per hole costs and individual components that could be located at a golf course, such as storm drains, bridges, and water features. At this time, I would like to request approval of the golf course addendum to Agricultural Bulletin number 214 for 25-26. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Do any of the commissioners have any questions? Hearing none, is there a motion?
Commissioner Witt, move to approve.
Second?
Commissioner Rhoda for seconds.
Those that say agree, say aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Please.
Any disagree? Nope, okay. Unanimously adopting the Agricultural Bulletin 214 addendum by us. Next item, regulations. Article 7, Ms. Navarez Goodson It's consideration for the adoption of the permanent LCB file number R03624.
Yes, good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. For the record, my name is Yvonne Navarez-Goodson, Chief Deputy Executive Director for the Department of Taxation. This morning, I'll be presenting agenda item 7A regarding a public hearing for the adoption of proposed permanent regulation, LCB file number R036-24. As members may recall from our last few meetings, this agenda item continues the series of public hearings that we have had and will continue to have to consider and adopt a number of regulations that were approved to move forward by Governor Lombardo's administration pursuant to Executive Order 2023-003. For a full review of the history of this executive order, the public may refer to the Commission's hearing on May 8th, 2024, which outlines the entire history of this executive order as it applies to the Commission. As a proposed permanent regulation, NRS Chapter 233B provides the process whereby this regulation may become law. The department held the required public workshop for this regulation on July 9th, 2024. As a result of suggested changes during the workshop, this regulation was sent back to the Legislative Counsel Bureau for a revised proposed draft. Today, we are holding the public hearing before the Nevada Tax Commission for adoption of this revised proposed draft of this regulation. If the Commission adopts the regulation in its current form as approved by LCB, the department will submit it to the Nevada Legislative Commission for its review and approval. Upon approval by the Legislative Commission, it will be filed with the Nevada Secretary of State, at which time it will become effective as a matter of law. However, if the Commission makes substantive changes to this regulation, the department will again submit it back to LCB for another revised proposed draft of the regulation, which will be brought back to the Commission for a subsequent hearing at a future date. All of the Tax Commission's proposed and adopted regulations are posted on the department's website, pending codification by LCB into the Nevada Administrative Code. And draft and adopted regulations can also be located on the Nevada Register published by the Legislative Counsel Bureau. As required by NRS 233B.061, this public hearing has been noticed in accordance with the Nevada Open Meeting Law and the provisions of NRS 233B for administrative rulemaking. With respect to a summary of this regulation, existing law provides methods for determining the taxable value of property and requires the Nevada Tax Commission to establish by regulation the criteria for the valuation of 2 or more parcels as a subdivision. Existing regulations require the county assessor to use certain information in determining the taxable value of land within a qualified subdivision, including the estimated retail selling price of all parcels in that subdivision, which are not sold, rented, or occupied, reduced by the percentage specified for the expected absorption period of the parcels. Section 5 of the regulation clarifies that the parcels to be used in calculating the estimated retail selling price are the parcels which have not been sold, rented, or otherwise occupied. Moving on, existing law also provides a partial abatement of the property taxes levied on property for which an assessed valuation has previously been established, a remainder parcel of real property, certain single-family residences which serve as the primary residence of the owner, and certain residential rental dwellings. Existing regulations set forth procedures for claiming the primary residential abatement and the residential rental abatement. Existing regulations further require the county assessor, before delivering the tax roll to the county tax receiver each year, to determine whether each parcel or other taxable unit of property designated on a tax roll is eligible for a primary residential abatement, eligible for a residential rental abatement, eligible for a general abatement, or eligible for any of those partial abatements of property taxes. Section 7 of this regulation provides that such a determination is only required for such properties for which a claim of a primary residential abatement or residential rental abatement is made. Section 6 of this regulation defines the term abatement percentage for the purposes of provisions relating to partial abatement of taxes. Further, under existing law, if a new parcel or other taxable unit of property is a remainder parcel, the remainder parcel qualifies for a partial abatement of property taxes, and the taxes on the remainder parcel may not increase by more than a certain percentage of the taxes which would have otherwise been imposed on the remainder parcel in the immediately preceding fiscal year. If the assessed valuation had been separately established for the remainder parcel for the immediately preceding fiscal year. Existing regulations set forth the manner in which new parcel is determined to be a remainder parcel that qualifies for partial abatement of property taxes. This regulation, in summary, makes other definitional, is that a word? And clarifying changes conforming changes otherwise required to be consistent with amended and repealed statutes that have occurred over the last few prior sessions. And with that, Mr. Chair, I'd like to turn the matter back over to you for the public hearing and any available public comments, and also for the commission to deliberate and/or accept a motion for approval, denial, or amendment of this revised proposed permit regulation.
Thank you. Before addressing the commissioners, is there any public comment?
Chairman Cleases. Hi, I'm Mary Ann Widener with the Clark County Assessor's Office. Just want to say we appreciate the department's work on this. Had several conversations and workshops, and I think we've come to a good conclusion, and we agree with the final LCB language and are in agreement with the department's conclusions. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody on the telephone?
If you wish
City?
to provide public comment, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue, or raise hand on your Zoom window to take your place in the queue. Chair, we have no callers wishing to provide public comment at this time.
Thank you. Anybody in Carson City? Having no further public comment, is there any questions by any of the commissioners or discussion? Do I have a motion?
I will move to approve the adoption of permanent regulation LCB file number R036-24.
Second?
Commissioner Bellows, I'll second.
Those that agree say aye.
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 Any nays? Unanimously approved in adopting the regulation LCB file number R03624. Section 8, informational items, penalty and interest waivers. The approval and denial status of organization. Bonds. Okay, briefing. Briefing to and from the commission and the executive director. From the executive director. Excuse me.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The department is counting down. We have 62 days. Project Mint Phase 1 goes live. Staff started training on the new system at the end of September, and we also started end-to-end testing, which is the final step in our testing. End-to-end testing is like a dress rehearsal before we cut over into Mint. This testing activity uses the full functionality of the system to replicate daily business activities with converted data. Phase 1 will go live December 9th, so that will be 5 days after our next commission meeting in December. And as part of our modernization, the department is going cashless, with the exception in very limited circumstances for businesses required to legally operate with cash. Starting October 24th, 2024, the department will no longer accept cash payments. All payments must be submitted either online, by credit card, personal business or cashier's check, or money order. By moving to a cashless system, the department is improving the efficiency and security of its services and aligning with contemporary best practices. And the Nevada National Guard Nevada Day holiday is October 25th through the 27th this year. Only Nevada sales tax on sales made in or delivered to the Guard members or qualifying relatives in Nevada during the Nevada Day holiday qualify for a refund. Guard members received a letter of exemption if they applied to their unit full-time administrative personnel by September 10th. If a Guard member has a letter of exemption, they can make a purchase during the Nevada Day holiday, which is October 25th through the 27th, to qualify for the refund. They will pay the sales tax due to the retailers on those purchases made during the exemption status period. They need to keep all receipts to request a refund of the sales tax paid during the exemption status period, and then they will submit their refund request to the department no later than 30 calendar days after date of purchase. And that concludes my briefing.
Thank you. Do any of the commissioners have any questions of Director Hughes? Oops. No, hearing none. Next meeting, October 8th, tomorrow morning, we're back at the tax department down the street. We'll be holding the Broadacres matter. And then our next scheduled meeting after that will be December 4th. And do we have any public comment? Yes, sir.
Good morning. I am Daniel Late Ortua, Project Manager of Conticasor Mesa. Just a small clarification. It would be possible for you to confirm whether, in regard to the point number 4, C2, the approval of refund requests in excess for $250,000 for Conticasor Mesa was adopted or postponed, or might you please clarify?
That was upheld.
No.
Could you spell your name for me, please?
Fell till December.
Was it-
Sorry, what?
Italian restaurant group.
Yeah, no, that was pulled. That'll be on our next meeting,
Okay.
December 4th.
Thank you.
And our court reporter would like for you to
I
spell
did.
your name for the record, please.
Yeah, I am Daniel Late Ortua. Thank you.
If you can spell it, please.
Could you spell your name?
DANILE ATEHORTUA.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I apologize, Mr. Chairman. I was looking at the draft agenda for the number.
That's fine. Is there any items for the future agenda? Hearing none, everybody have a great day. See y'all tomorrow. We have a lot closer tomorrow.